Welcome to the ultimate journey through the disasters of the gaming world in 2024. Video games, the product of millions of hours of hard work, boundless creativity, and sometimes a bit of nonsense, play an irreplaceable role in the entertainment industry. They help us become heroes saving the world, or at the very least, avoiding house chores. But not every game is a masterpiece. Some games are released, and you don't know whether to call them games or the names of colossal failures. Success or failure, everything has its place in the graveyard of games, where digital dreams and nightmares mingle. Today, we will highlight the most notable names of 2024, the games that make you wonder whether to laugh or cry when you hear about them. Grab your popcorn and get ready to laugh at these failures. The phenomenon of bad games is no longer just a rumor, but has become an integral part of the gaming world. To determine why a game is rated poorly, we need to understand the golden criteria of failure. First, storyline. An engaging storyline is the backbone of any game. But if the plot faces disruptions, like disjointed short stories or unclear main characters, that game is sure to fade into oblivion. Next, gameplay in the gaming world. Gameplay plays a pivotal role. But when gameplay is repetitive, dull, or even confusing, that game easily turns into a disaster. Additionally, graphics may not be abysmal, but when they're lacking creativity, everything looks like a colorless world. A game that isn't visually stunning or fails to leave an impression will always get marked down by both the community and critics. Finally, sound. Sound plays a significant part in the experience. But when the sound is jarring, the music is inappropriate, or there are serious sound errors, the game turns into an auditory horror film. The opinions of the community and critics are just as important. They provide a comprehensive view, helping us grasp the strengths and weaknesses of a game. From there, the horror stories of games in 2024 become more apparent from various perspectives. And now, not to keep you waiting any longer, let's dive into the top 5 disaster games of 2024. Leading the list is Suicide Squad, Killed the Justice League. This action-adventure game from Rocksteady Studios is a continuation of the Batman Arkham series. The game follows the notorious team of supervillains, including familiar faces like Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark. Recruited by the enigmatic Amanda Waller, this team is tasked with battling Brainiac, who has taken control of the minds of the superheroes, including members of the Justice League, to save Metropolis. The community has mixed feelings about this game. On Metacritic, it scores an average of 60 100s from critics and a disappointing 3.4/10 from players. While some praised the engaging storyline and impressive graphics, many were let down by repetitive missions and underwhelming live service elements. IGN noted that although the story and character performances were strong, the repetitive gameplay made the game less appealing over time. The main issue that turned Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League into a disaster lies in the illogical and uninspiring storyline, coupled with repetitive and boring gameplay. Some players felt that constantly fighting Justice League members under Brainiac's control made the story feel hollow. The gameplay mechanics lacked uniqueness, and the numerous dull side quests detracted from the overall experience. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League brought significant disappointment to both gamers and critics, despite its initial high expectations. This game stands as a prime example of how a strong storyline and potential cannot make up for a lack of innovative gameplay and long-term development planning. The second spot goes to Skull and Bones by Ubisoft. This pirate-themed action-adventure game allows players to become captains of their ships on the Indian Ocean. Initially revealed at E3 2017, Skull and Bones has had a tumultuous development journey, starting as an expansion idea for Assassin's Creed Black Flag in 2013. After many years of development, redesigns, and delays, the game was finally released in 2024. Despite the long development period, Skull and Bones failed to meet the initial expectations. Upon release, the game encountered numerous technical issues, including poor overall performance, low graphical fidelity, and frequent crash requiring restarts. The pirate-focused gameplay, while anticipated, did not bring much originality compared to other games like Sea of Thieves. One of the weakest aspects of Skull and Bones is the repetitive and uninspired gameplay. The missions and activities, instead of enriching the pirate experience, quickly became monotonous and dull after a few hours of play. Additionally, the lack of engaging content after completing the main missions left players feeling unmotivated to continue. Feedback from the gaming community and critics highlighted many issues with Skull and Bones. On Metacritic, the game received an average score of 59/100 from critics and 3.3/10 from players. Some gamers described the game as nothing more than repetitive lip service and lacking any captivating storyline. IGN noted that while Skull and Bones had some interesting elements in ship handling and sea battles, it was not enticing enough to keep players engaged for long. PC Gamer also remarked that the live service aspect of Skull and Bones felt heavy, repetitive, and lacked depth. Skull and Bones is undoubtedly one of the most disappointing games of 2024, with its prolonged development process, numerous technical issues, and lackluster gameplay. The game did not meet the expectations of the gaming community. Negative feedback further emphasized the critical weaknesses of Skull and Bones. Next up is Dustborn, an action-adventure game by Red Thread Games, set in a fictional America of 2030, known as the American Republic. Players take on the role of Pox, a notorious smuggler, carrying a mysterious package alongside a band of punk rock misfits. This journey involves not only battling enemies, but also exploring self-discovery and relationships within the group. Dustborn's gameplay and story are quite diverse. The game combines interactive dialogues, real-time action, and rhythm mini-games akin to Guitar Hero. Some players have found the use of voice and words as weapons against enemies to be interesting and creative. However, there are also many reviews that indicate the initially captivating story gradually becomes dull and disjointed. While the main character and the group members are uniquely designed, the plot's lack of depth makes it hard for players to connect emotionally. Dustborn's drawbacks include unoriginal gameplay and an uninspiring story. Many players feel that although the game introduces grand ideas, its execution falls short of expectations. The gameplay quickly becomes repetitive and fails to maintain player interest over time. The tasks and actions in the game are not diverse enough and lack innovation, leading to fatigue and boredom. The storyline also has weaknesses, with incoherent and sometimes illogical events detracting from the game's overall appeal. Dustborn is a regretful addition to the list of bad games in 2024. Despite its promising start and compelling graphics, the shortcomings in gameplay and storytelling prevent it from standing out in the gaming community. And let's not forget Concord, a true disaster so notable even Sony would rather not admit it created this game. This sci-fi first-person shooter FPS from Sony was initially expected to rival heavyweights like Overwatch and Apex Legends. The game introduced characters with unique abilities in 5v5 team battles, promising to attract a large player base with its stunning graphics and smooth gameplay. However, Concord fell short of expectations and quickly became a prime example of high hopes leading to great disappointments. No one could have predicted that Sony would create a game with poor quality graphics and technical issues. Upon release, players encountered numerous performance issues, such as sudden frame drops, connection errors, and graphics that looked much less sharp compared to the initial trailers. These problems severely undermined the gaming experience, leaving players feeling their money was wasted. Additionally, Concord's gameplay was criticized for lacking creativity. The game modes were mere copies of other titles, failing to bring a fresh experience to players. The characters and weapons in the game were also unimpressive, making the gameplay repetitive and boring. As a result, This game received a torrent of negative feedback from the gaming community, scoring just 1.7, 10 from 1,228 users on Metacritic. Many players described Concord as a disaster and not worth the money due to the lack of innovation and serious technical issues. Gaming forums and review articles pointed out that Concord had missed a golden opportunity to become a groundbreaking FPS, but ended up being a poor quality copy of other popular games. Concord stands out as one of the most disappointing games of 2024. Despite the high initial expectations, the game couldn't meet those due to its poor quality graphics and significant technical issues. Negative feedback from the gaming community further highlighted that Concord failed to offer anything new or genuinely captivating to players. Finally, in the top 5 unforgettable disaster games that you simply can't overlook is Unknown 9: Awakening. This action-adventure game from Reflector Entertainment and Bandai Namco is set in the 1920s in an alternate reality where supernatural and mysterious elements intertwine. In the game, players take on the role of Haruna, a quest on a mission to avenge their mentor's death. The journey spans diverse locations, from the Indian jungles to Portuguese manors, meeting secret societies and supernatural foes along the way. Although gameplay combines elements of action, exploration, and stealth, the game fails to deliver a groundbreaking experience. The unique character control mechanisms and supernatural abilities, such as propulsion, X-ray vision, and enemy manipulation, are intriguing but executed in a clunky and unpolished manner. The storyline, despite starting with promise, becomes convoluted and bogged down by excessive unexplained magical jargon. On Metacritic, the game received an average score of 59/100 from critics and a dismal 1.7, 10 from players. Many gamers criticize the storyline of Unknown 9: Awakening for being riddled with cheap moral lessons and old-fashioned magical tales. The main and supporting characters lack depth, while the disjointed cutscenes disrupted the flow and diminished the gaming experience's overall enjoyment. Unknown 9: Awakening failed to deliver an impressive experience and a captivating storyline. With inherent weaknesses in both gameplay and plot, the game fell short of player expectations and has earned its place among the worst games of 2024. From the disappointing games of 2024, several common mistakes that developers should avoid stand out. First, illogical and boring storylines significantly contribute to the overall disappointment. When the storyline fails to captivate, players quickly lose interest. Second, repetitive and uninspired gameplay makes the game dull and unremarkable. Third, poor quality graphics and technical issues are major drawbacks that the gaming community can't overlook, significantly diminishing the gaming experience. Lastly, inappropriate or jarring sounds also contribute to the game receiving low ratings. Let's hope that game developers will invest more in building cohesive and engaging storylines, innovating gameplay to provide fresh experiences for players, ensuring high-quality graphics, and conducting thorough technical checks before launch to avoid unnecessary errors, and designing appropriate sound and music that fit the game's setting. 2024 has indeed been a memorable year for the gaming world, my friends. Games like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Skull and Bones, Dustborn, Concord, and Unknown 9: Awakening have made us bang our heads on the keyboard more than a few times. Truly, good games are rare while bad games are many. Looking at the feedback from the gaming community, we see the importance of listening to feedback. Some games were expected to be blockbusters but ended up as complete letdowns. But don't worry, because these failures help us grow and appreciate truly great games even more. Hopefully, developers will learn from this year and bring breakthroughs for the next. Who knows, maybe 2025 will be the year of masterpieces, and we'll be immersed in the world of games without sighing over the disasters anymore.